What's up, everybody? Welcome to Theory Unlocked, the show that brings you the latest in gaming news, updates, and of course, deep dives into the industry. We are back once again. I'm Drew, that's Michael. We have two more special guests this week. Michael, man, we're on fire lately, dude. I gotta be honest. We have the team from Wishfully talking about Planet of Lana II. We have Adam and Klas here. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Nice
thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Yeah, very nice to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How does it feel to finally get this game out after wrapping up 1? Now we're into Planet of Lana 2. We reviewed it on the website. I absolutely adored your game. It's been an absolute trip.
Awesome.
It was awesome.
I mean, wow, it's been yeah. I mean, it's I mean, we've only made one game before, so this is our second release, and you know, you thought it was going to be easier, but it was not. It was very nervous, and you know, we're also releasing on all platforms this time from day one.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nerve-wracking with, you know, sorting out all the bugs and all that before. So that was like a crunchy time before release, but so happy to have it out there. And, you know, just seeing all the reviews and the great reception coming in, it's been quite unreal, to be honest. So very, very happy with the launch.
How about for you, Klas?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's, I mean, I don't know if it's if it's ever one of those things that become like normalized, releasing a video game after you work like so hard on something for literally years. So yeah, it's been a hell of a ride, and now it's out, and yeah, couldn't be happier with the reception and finally having it out there for people to play. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
very good.
You mentioned it, Adam, and I was curious when I was looking into Planet of Lana 2, right? You're one of the few titles with releases this year that came out on the last generation, right? PS4 and the Xbox One. What kind of went into that decision to kind of include that previous generation and just not say, hey, look, if you're not on the current gen, you know, sorry.
I mean, we want as broad audience as possible, and since we released Planet of Lana, Planet of Lana 1, we released on PC and Xbox for day one, and then we had it out on PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch about a year later. And since we already did that, and we're, you know, building Planet of Lana 2 on the same technology, then we thought, you know, it made sense to do it. But then, yeah, you know, as you actually get down to the last couple of months, you realize that it is a bunch of consoles to do stuff for. And we're porting it all in-house in our, you know, little indie studio. So it's been a tremendous job that the programmers have carried, and yeah, big parts of the team on the technical side, just hauling it through and getting it out on the console. So happy about that. But yeah, it's been tough. I'm not gonna lie. So and yeah, I'm hoping that people are happy that they can play it on their the ones that haven't upgraded yet.
Absolutely. What's in store now that you guys are done? You guys taking a break, or how's that going?
I mean, we had a proper celebration in the studio, had a proper party, and but now that's all taken care of, and we're on to the next projects, man. So that's what we're doing. We're super psyched on getting started on the next things, and yeah, that's where we're at.
We'll talk about that in a second.
No rest for the wicked.
No, absolutely. Oh man, we can talk about that game too later if you want. So when you guys are thinking now that you're done, is there any bug fixes you want to do? Anything along that line? Or are you guys pretty well happy with the state of the game, and now you are full production into the next one?
No, we are supporting the game, and we are fixing bugs. We've had a good release, I would say. So it's not that too much to fix, but still we want to support the community and want to have, you know, fix the things that has come up. So we're working on that in parallel with new projects, basically.
That's fair. What's the elevator pitch for Planet of Lana 2 if somebody hasn't heard of your game?
So Planet of Lana in general, Planet of Lana is a cinematic platform adventure, and it's kind of in the likes of Limbo and Inside, but more colorful and kind of with a Star Wars kind of epic story, you know. And then, of course, you have your sidekick, Mui, which is this cute little creature companion. And And I had a very old elevator pitch, like for the first Planet of Lana, which basically was Inside plus The Last Guardian in a Studio Ghibli universe. So if you know that game,
Yep.
Last Guardian, where you playing this boy and this big dragon-like creature. So that's kind of where we are. So you're playing. It's a single-player game. You play as Lana, and then you go out on this epic adventure, and then she finds this little creature Mui, and then you collaborate. And you can think of Mui kind of like a dog. So she's kind of a mix between a cat, dog, monkey thing. But it's kind of that fantasy of having a cat, but that you actually can give commands to, and a cat that listens to you. So you can command her, and then she can go, jump higher, go into tight spaces that you can't, and then you have your own abilities and things you can do, and what you can do together and separately is really the core of the gameplay of Planet of Lana.
Very cool.
And when you're working on a sequel, I mean, you talked about how you want to make sure it was accessible to everyone who could play it before. How do you make sure that someone who didn't play it, if they just heard your elevator pitch and they want to play it, do they need to play Planet of Lana 1? Like, how do you make sure that the game can serve someone who's like, I don't have time to play the first one, but still reward someone who maybe remembers things from the first game?
Yeah, I think that's what's good about Planet of Lana in general, because we're telling a story without words, and which is quite special. And it's kind of one of those games where you kind of get out what you put into the game. So I mean, there's people, I'm sure, playing Planet of Lana that just want to play it for the puzzle and platforming and just get through it. But if you're a more attentive player, you stop and you look at details and stuff like that, because the story is kind of a puzzle in itself, you could say, because we are telling it without words. And in Planet of Lana 1, we were more we had more mystery, I would say, around the story. But in Planet of Lana 2, we give you a little bit more answers, and it is a more complex, layered story also in the second game. But you definitely can jump straight into the second game. We give like a recap in the beginning of the game of what happened in the first, and you can play the second game, and then you can deepen your knowledge of the world and universe if you play Planet of Lana 1 as well. So it's one of those things where it kind of adds on the more you have played, basically, to give you more of the lore and of the universe.
Can we dive into a little bit more of the fact that you guys did not place a single word in your game at all? Instead, you made up your own language. What was the choice behind that?
Is that my question?
Yeah.
That is your question. I'm gonna shut up now.
No, you were doing so well. You can tell it's not 5 a.m. where you are. Yeah, what was the decision around that? Silly decision, really. Made everything very difficult. No, it was a very good decision, and one that was made actually primarily for gameplay reasons originally. So like Adam said, this relationship between Lana and Mui is very much like the core of the gameplay. And originally we weren't gonna, because we were really like sort of enamored with Limbo and Inside and those games that obviously have no dialogue at all.
Yeah.
They were huge inspiration, and so that was the original hypothesis, was to like, okay, these games work really well like without any dialogue at all. But then we had this like collaboration element with Mui, and we also knew that we wanted that to be the emotional kindling for the story, their relationship sort of thing. So when it came down to giving Mui commands and creating that relationship, we did really feel like, now we need something here. Like we tried a little bit with like, okay, well, what if we just do whistles and like things like that? But it made no sense. So we were just like, okay, well, we need them to talk to each other. Even if we can't understand what they're saying, they need to be identifiable words, sort of thing. So that's where it started. And then as we were writing and the story started coming together, we just sort of leaned into that. And I guess the foundation was always to try and tell as visual a story as possible, but then introduce this pretend language or this made up language to just add a little bit more flavor and kind of turn it into a window into this planet, as if you'd like crash landed on it and we're hiding in the bushes and observing these people and like just hearing things. hearing them talk and stuff like that. And we noticed fairly quickly that, like, you know, I mean, there's melody to a language, and like that words have, there's a texture to words, like even when you don't understand them, you know what I mean? Like if you hear someone swearing in French, or I'm sure Zulu, if you were had the opportunity to do that, you'd sort of, you can almost touch it, you know. And that became a really cool tool to just tell a slightly more complex story than maybe Inside or Limbo or those other kind of purely environmental storytelling games. So that's kind of the journey.
And speaking of story, and maybe it's not fun, maybe it's just you guys were assigned to sit next to each other, but it's come out you guys were friends in middle school. I want to hear, how did you guys meet? Like, what's the story behind that? Maybe it's not epic, but I still want to know how you guys met each other.
Well, we were in, so not in the same class, but in the same year, and we were both really into drawing and games and movies and all that stuff. And for me, the way I remember it is that I was sort of very skeptical to hear about this kid in the other class who also liked drawing and was very good at it. And so I was just like, you know, who's this guy coming in here thinking he's something special? And then, like, I know we caught up one afternoon, like just Adam showed me some of his stuff. I remember his drawings, and he'd made this really awesome drawing of this beloved, like, Swedish family of like cartoon bears. It's all very wholesome, and it's all about learning, you know. I think we were at about 11 at the time when we met him. And that's sort of what I'd been doing up to that point, like just like drawing things, like looking at something and then like sort of drawing it, copying it essentially. Whereas like Adam had done that with one of these little bears, but he'd done a twist on it. So where it's like the bear is like turning up towards the camera, so perspective, amazing. And then like there was a laser beam like shooting straight through his head with like blood coming out on the other side and stuff like that. And I was just like, whoa, you can do that? You can take like this thing and like just turn it into something brutal and gory and something else. And that's how that's how it sort of started. And then we as we got older, we started doing things together. When computers got introduced, like maybe you want to tell that.
Yeah, I remember being I remember being at Klas' house one of the first times I was at his house, and he showed me Photoshop, total legal copy, of course.
Of course.
And and you know he's and then we did this, you know, very, very cool collage of like Star Wars. We just, you know, downloaded Star Wars images and just put them, and it was like a little fade between each image. It was so my mind was blown that you could do that basically. And after that, it was that was it. Like it was a lot of creative stuff ever since. And then we got into like a lot of different things, you know, illustration and animation and film. And we continued going on in high school, and then I don't know, from 15 to basically 19. We went to this media school where you get to try a lot of different stuff. And we did games back then as well. We did games in Games Factory and in Flash. That was a thing. So we did games there. But then we kind of stumbled into film and kind of got on our separate ways in our 20s. Klas moved to New Zealand, went to film school. I started with motion graphics and, you know, illustration and 2D and 3D animation, and started my own company and did that stuff. And then we joined back up and started a film production company in Stockholm, like 8 years later.
Together with Dan as well, who's the lead game designer, who we also went to high school with. So it is very much like a family affair. This Wishfully at the root, along with a lot of other people as well. But
who was the first one that said we need to make a video game, right? Because that feels like the cliche, like, oh, we need to start a podcast or we need to start a rock band. Like,
Hey.
who was the first one in the friend group that was like, we need to make a video game? Because then you guys ended up making it happen, which is pretty cool.
It was definitely
Yeah.
Adam. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it started with we've been doing we had the production company for a couple of years, and we had a lot of ambition with that in the beginning. But then we had clients and we did commercials, essentially selling stuff. So we kind of got sick of that, and ever since we made those Flash games, and we all had such a big passion for games since we were kids. And when 2010 came and like the indie wave with digital distribution, you kind of realized that this could actually be a thing that you could do. And then back in 2017, we had a lot of ideas over the years. But back in 2017, I drew an image in Photoshop of this girl and her creature companion looking up at this robot in this like grassy Ghibli-inspired landscape, and that's the same key art that we still use for Planet of Lana 1.
Awesome.
And I drew that, and with the base idea of the game, this cinematic platformer inspired by Limbo and Inside, and these old games that I grew up with, also Another World and Oddworld and Flashback and those games. And there it was, and then I tried to convince other people to join in on the project, but when I showed that concept image to people, they were I realized there was something special with it, and I thought, now I finally have an idea worth actually completing. So I kind of decided then and there, because I had done so many projects over the years that I was so excited about starting, but you never finish them, right? That's the problem, because you get a better idea. But when I had that image, I just decided that, fuck it, I'm 30. I got my first kid. I thought if I was ever gonna do anything with this and try to take everything I've learned over my life creatively and do something with heart and passion, I felt this was a very good bet. So I worked on the game for a year by myself, and then finally convinced Klas and a bunch of other people to jump on board. And we were quite naive, because none of us had worked in the game industry before. We've run companies before, and we came from the animation and film industry, so that was good. But there was so much to learn, and we did so many mistakes over the course of those 3 first years, trying to pitch the game, working on a vertical slice. And then finally in 2020, we got signed by Xbox and then Thunderful. So that was it.
Wow, all history from there now at this point, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's I'm so grateful we get to do this every day. To be honest, it's very special.
How big's your team?
So our team is we go a bit up and down, but we're around 20 people. Yeah.
Small studio located all over the place. You don't have one central location, do you?
We actually do have one central location. So most people are actually based here in Gothenburg. We're a bit unusual in that sense. So we have an office, and then we have some people working. I would say like 75% is coming to the office every day, and the rest is spread out in different places.
Kind of like Klas, right?
It's quite special. Yeah, exactly.
I'm very spread out.
Yeah.
He posts the friend card. He just says, "Look, like I knew you for so long, I get the special treatment."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's
For some reason, Klas really hates Sweden, so he's just trying to escape. First New Zealand, and then now it's Australia. So yeah, so Klas is in Sydney, and the studio's in Gothenburg, Sweden. So yeah, it's a big time difference, but it's actually the nicest for you, Klas, right?
It works well. I mean, being the writer, or it's quite nice. I get the day to write. No one disturbs me, and then in the evening there's a few hours of overlap where we do meetings and sync and stuff like that. So yeah, it works well for us. And we've talked about this a lot between me and Adam, but I'm not sure how well it would work if we hadn't known each other since middle school. I think that definitely helps. But then it's also sometimes it's quite good because it becomes almost like a 24-hour, production cycle. So like when they go to bed, they can hand over some things to them, like, oh, this needs testing during today, or like, can you do this? And then like when they wake up, it's done, and so it works quite well actually for us. Yeah.
That's cool. You guys are big partners with Xbox, obviously. Planet of Lana II. Go ahead, Adam.
No, I was just gonna say that Xbox has a very special place in our hearts because we signed with Xbox first. They were the first ones that believed in Planet of Lana 100%. So that helped us so much, being, as I said, a studio doing our debut game. So we've gotten so much support from them over the course of these two games. So yeah, very nice.
Then with Planet of Lana 2, you come back with them once more and put it on Game Pass again.
Yes, that is correct.
Can you talk about the decision behind that? We just had Alec Robbins from Squanch Games talk about his experience and why he thought and they felt it would be best for them to put there. I'm just curious to see if your theory lines up along with Alex, or is it just obviously each studio has their own unique vision and reason behind it, but very curious to see why you guys decided to go to use Game Pass. Like, there's also PlayStation Plus, right? There's two sides to it, but with obviously your history of Xbox, it kind of makes sense. But
yeah, I mean, for the first game, since we were a debut studio and releasing our first game, it's so tough out there in the games industry. Yes, it's not enough doing a good game, as everyone knows. And you're just releasing it into the void and no one knows you exist, basically. So it's that thing of, we want to make games for people and we want to reach as many players as possible. So it was, for the first game, it was not even a decision really, because it's where we were at, it helped us so much, reaching a broader audience. And you reach those players also that's kind of on the fence. They kind of see the game and they say, oh, that kind of looks interesting, but I don't know if I want to, spend $20 on it. But if you have Game Pass, you can just, give it a whirl for 30 minutes and see if it's something for you. So yeah, it's been great for us. And for the second game, it was the same. I mean, we're building a series of games with Planet of Lana, and we want to grow the franchise basically, and as much as we can, and reach as many people as we can.
It's pretty well along the lines of what Alec had to say too, right? It is reaching the unknown, I think, basically is what it comes down to, is those people who are on the fence of, do I spend the time to download and then jump in? I think has it worked out? Did you feel that, yes, it has paid its dividends going to Game Pass? Has it worked out for you guys in the end, or is it something maybe consider you wouldn't do in the third game?
No, definitely not. I think, we're so happy with being on Game Pass for both games. So it's been great, really. That's
cool. So you guys wrap up Planet of Lana 1. Is it right from there? You guys, okay, boom. We know what we're doing next. We're right into the sequel. Michael, did I steal your question?
You did steal my question. That's where I was going to go. Yeah, I wanted to know that turnover time.
Yeah. How quickly did you know there was a sequel coming?
We started straight away, actually, because when we worked on Planet of Lana 1, if you played Planet of Lana 1, it leaves you with questions, about the universe and what happens and so forth. And obviously we had the answers to a lot of those questions, but decided not to tell everything about it. But we had built this world and universe around the first game, and around a midpoint of production of the first game, we realized that it's way too big, it's too cool. It's too much stuff going on. And we really felt that we wanted to explore more of this world in a sequel, because there were so much things also that we couldn't do in the first game, and that we story one part is the story, and other things is just a lot of fun gameplay things, and creatures and features, and a lot of things that we didn't have time for in Planet of Lana 1 that we were very happy to get a chance to do in the sequel.
And you mean the sequels had a ton of praise? We here at the Gamerz 3, we loved it. But I want to hear from you guys. Like, what are, for both of you, what are you most proud of from the sequels? Is there a certain gameplay element? Is there something that you were able to get in there? What's like your most proud thing that's in the second game?
I think for me, it's there's a lot of things, but I think in general, I think you can feel that it's a more. I mean, I'm very proud of both games, but I feel since Planet of Lana was our first game, I feel that we've matured as a studio, and we had a better collaboration, and it's a better kind of sync between gameplay and story, and it feels to me, it feels like more of the vision that at least I saw in front of me for the first game that kind of come together for the second game. So there's a lot of things, but if I would say one thing is that I'm freaking proud of the team, what we've done together, and the
nice.
I don't have one particular thing I would say. Klas?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, firstly, obviously, I agree. It's the team has done such an amazing job, and everyone, like, we also had the privilege of once the first game was out, we got approached by a lot of people who really, really loved it and wanted to work for us, and then came and put all that love into the second game. So that was, massive privilege. On a personal level, I think it's kind of what I was talking about before with that wordless storytelling. I think pushing that even further and like just diving deep, just seeing how deep we could dive into like these characters and how complex we could make them without, because the first game is it's kind of a neat sort of hero's journey, very classical, like sort of, you start with the alien invasion and you end sort of, well, let's not talk about how it ends maybe, but it's very much a classic, like sort of Odyssey. But in the second game, it's a bit more of a descending arc for Lana. There's a bit more going on emotionally. She's going through this sort of identity crisis, and I think I was quite, I wouldn't say worried, but like I was a bit nervous about like, okay, how is this actually going to translate? Are these undertones and the subtext, is that going to actually come through in the final product? And I do feel very proud that I do think that we delivered on that. So that's one thing I'm quite proud of personally. Yeah.
And maybe you guys didn't, but we had, as Drew mentioned, we had Alec on last week. They just launched their game at Squanch, and he went out and got it, like a kind of like, we launched the game, I'm going to reward myself present, right? He got a retro fighting cabinet. Have you guys done that? Have you guys been like, all right, we launched the game, I've had my eye on whatever, I want to go out and kind of reward myself? Do you guys have that purchase as kind of your reward for launching this game, or not yet? Or do you have your eyes on something that you're maybe you pull the trigger on soon?
I'm just like, I'm getting really into plants, so I just went out and bought a few plants.
Nice. Hey, there you go. I mean, that's awesome. What kind of plants though? Like just.
Oh my god, I don't even know what they're called.
You just
no, just house plants.
Okay.
Got a little photos going.
Nice.
Things that come down in vines. I really really enjoy. Yeah, so that was my treat. How about you, Adam?
Well, I mean the thing that I've bought since launch is a board game, and I'm big into board games.
Nice.
So I bought the Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. I don't know if you play that, but it's I've actually played that like 15 years ago because it's been around in different versions. But it's a very cool game where you have to think for yourself and solve a crime and stuff. And I get super excited. It's that everyone has that for some things. When you buy a thing and you're so excited before you played it. So it's gonna be really nice. Gonna play it during the weekend, but I think that's it for me.
Cool. Adam, you talked about going to Game Pass for exposure. With a small team like yours, how do you build off of that so that more people do see you? Because right now there's a new game out tomorrow, there's a new game out today, every day there's always something else dropping, right? How do you stay on the
Yeah.
player's mind that you, hey, don't forget about us as well, we're coming out shortly? Now you guys obviously playing Lana 2 already out. If you haven't played it, freaking go get the game. But there's just opportunities. How do you make sure that people notice you guys?
I mean, we try to do stuff like this,
Well,
talking with you guys.
sure.
But yeah, I mean, every way we can, and I mean, our publisher Thunderful have done a tremendous job. I mean, they're an indie publisher, and we don't have the budgets of marketing for that big games have. So you have to be really smart about it. But I'm very happy with the campaign that we had. And I mean, Planet of Lana it's a interesting game because I think it's one of those games also you play in between other games, right? Because it's like a pretty short game. The first game is around like 4 or 5 hours. The second game is around like 6 to 10 hours, depending on who you are, 6 to 8 hours. So it's quite a neat game to play in between those big games. And yeah, what we've seen is that it's really nice to fit into that kind of category. And I mean, I think it's a nice game that kind of thrives on that. You get this short, really intense emotional experience, a fun experience playing it, and then you tell a friend, hopefully. And I mean, that's what you have to rely on. You have to kind of do the first splash, but you can't reach everyone that you want to, and then you gotta hope that the algorithms and the attention that you get and just people enjoying the game and telling friends and about it, that does the job. So yeah, it is tough being a indie studio and getting your game out there. But obviously it's helped a lot that we had the first game out and that we have a really nice fan base for that, so to build upon. So that's very nice.
Absolutely. Klas, where's your vision for the third one?
Oh my god, putting me on the spot. That's like came out of nowhere. Softballing me into like well, it's gonna be even bigger and better, and no, but I mean, a lot more answers, I think, is one thing, but we don't want to say too much about it yet. It's
Sure.
it's early days still, but I think a good finish is what we're aiming for.
Is
Yeah.
the third
definitely.
one next? Is that what's up for you guys? Is now kind of concluding that story and then moving on to maybe something else?
Yeah, indeed. I mean, that is what we want to work on next. But we have other exciting stuff as well going on. So yeah,
Like the tease.
that we can't
Unfortunately, can't talk too much about it. We want to, believe us, we could do another hour just talking about that, but unfortunately, cannot.
That's fair. We'll have you back then. That's for sure.
Absolutely, would love to.
Michael, what do you got storming up something? I can see it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys talked about, the challenges you obviously had for making your first game, and you guys learned for the second game. Were there still challenges you guys ran into in the second game, or did you feel like you were like, hey, we kind of learned everything the first time, we're really ready? Obviously, I mean, there's always going to be something that pops up, but was there still something that surprised you during the development of the second game that you're like, man, I didn't even think about this when we made the first one?
I mean, there are so many things that pops up all the time, but I feel that it's definitely been a much smoother ride this time around, because we went through so much for the first game. But yeah, I mean, there's always it's so complex making a video game. It's a fucking miracle every time a game gets launched, I think. Yeah, it's hard pinpointing something specifically. Do you have anything, Klas?
That surprised? No, I don't. I mean, I'm sure there was, but it's also that thing of like what you just said, that it's almost like 3 years the days just like blend together. And I think if you ask me in 6 months, I'd probably be able to give you like a really good answer. But right now it's almost like just you've been beaten over the head with a bag of potatoes or something, and you're just like, what the fuck happened here? So yeah,
But
ask me again in
but
6 months.
but I think also from the first game, I mean, there we kind of figure things as we went along because it was our first game. But in the second game, we had, you know, more of a blueprint for the game, you know, that we got to work on kind of. But then, and you are of course more confident because you have released a game and it gotten great reviews and stuff. But then as you get closer to, you know, we're doing these bigger bets on, you know, the storytelling being more complex and a lot of different things. So it was quite nervous. I mean, we thought it was going to work, but it was a big relief when, you know, you have your first testing of the game, when you have the first version and you're actually seeing things. And then we made some big cuts, you know, after those. You have to test and iterate all the time, and it's very important getting the pacing right in a game like this. So we made a lot of cuts with stuff that had great gameplay and great stuff, but that just didn't kind of overstayed its welcome, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
for the sake of the overall pacing, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
actually now you're reminding me, but one thing that did surprise during testing, because like Adam said, like we do a lot of external playtesting, but internal and external playtesting. Internal, it's hard to do internal sometimes for the story because people have read the script, they know sort of where we're taking it, and the challenge is going external and like putting it in front of someone, especially the first testing we did externally, that with people who hadn't played Planet of Lana 1 and like, you know, all this stuff, to like really try, okay, well, how much of a standalone experience is this in its current form? And one of the things that we discovered there that was so interesting, I thought, was, and surprising to your question, was that some people, like just a small percentage of the population, it seemed, just got so hung up on the no dialogue, or like the no subtitles, unintelligible dialogue, that they couldn't get past it in testing and pay attention to what was actually happening on screen. Like they went into the settings and like, oh, where are the subtitles? Can I turn them on? And like, and we noticed that uncertainty and the fact that they didn't know genuinely like ruined the experience for them. And so what
Yeah,
we
didn't
thought
know
there
if it
was
was
like
intentional.
I didn't know if it was intentional.
Wow.
So like after a brief moment of panic there, like some people just flowed with the go and it was like, you know, oh, okay, yeah, cool. Oh, there's no subtitle. Okay, yeah. But then so what we found was like we just made this small tweak. We put in like 2 sentences at the beginning of the game saying that, you know, this is an intentional creative choice. Like the story is kind of like, you know, we want you to interpret it. That's part of the experience. And then after we tested that, like that feedback pretty much disappeared. So it just, you know, what could have been a panic moment of like, oh my god, we made it too complicated, do we need to add subtitles, blah, 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 just became this like, oh, well, let's just look at the psychology of what's actually going on here and see where a simple fix like this might take us. And that, in that case, it did the job. So yeah, that surprised me a lot, that it was just, you know, both the problem and the solution were a bit of a surprise to me.
I can see that because so if you play Animal Crossing, and when everybody does their little like, I almost turn it off because I don't want to hear it. Right, I don't want to hear the. It doesn't matter to me. But it was fun, but when you play Planet of Lana, it was just one of those. It was just felt smooth and automatic, and I just continued on the way. Like I never even thought, where is the dialogue? For me, it was just a matter of playing the game and understanding, letting the world tell the story. And then as I'm in there, there's one puzzle mechanic after another puzzle, but I never felt a rinse and repeat on your puzzles. I thought you guys designed the levels and the puzzles incredibly well, that I wasn't getting bored and going, no, here we go, we're doing this puzzle again, right? And you say because it's such a short game compared to like when Crimson Desert comes out, here there's 100+ hours, right? Or Assassin's Creed Shadows, that was 100+ hours. For you guys to put out such a smaller game, for me, for somebody like myself, and with like we were talking about, we all have kids except for Michael at the moment, maybe one day. But it's those kids take up time. So for me to be able to sit down and enjoy a game, I can finish Planet of Lana 2 in 8 hours and get a sense of accomplishment. Is that something you guys are hearing when people are finishing your game?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's what I was touching on before as well. I think that's as you said, I have kids as well, and I think it's really nice having those shorter games that give you a narrative experience and that you actually can finish as well, because unfortunately I don't finish many of the big games. I play them for like 30-40 hours and then go on to the next one, and I think a lot of people do it that way as well.
And it's almost like a bit of it can be a bit of like a mouthwash experience after, if you've played something like really heavy, or like Resident Evil came out very close in time, and like if you've had an intense experience like that, a lot of the feedback has been for both games that it's a nice sort of palate cleanser where you like you can just go to Novo for a few hours and look at the colorful surroundings and a bit more enjoyment, not maybe as intense an experience, and a bit and more contained.
Experience. Yeah, exactly. And on the puzzling side, it's very nice of you to say that. Thank you so much. And a big kudos goes to Don Faxe, our childhood friend and lead game designer, and Christian Enfors is also senior game designer. But I mean, what we really tried to do with this game, as I touched on before as well, is really, we're making a cinematic, emotional, epic journey in both these games. But gameplay is so important for us, and that's where I also feel that we've taken it to another level with the second game, because we really tried to make it fun and varied, and a bit more challenging puzzles in the second game than we had in the first game, without being ever crossing the boundary to becoming too frustrating, but that you have to, you feel challenged and you feel smart when you realize it, but you still have a constant flow forward. And then you come to a new biome, a new area, and you meet like, oh, what's this weird creature, and how can I use that to kind of interact with this, and how can this help me and my collaboration with Muian to move on. And then you come to the next area and you get to drive a submarine, and then you get to the next area and you can swim with a little fish like Echo the dolphin, and then you come to another area. So it's really, I think that's something that I'm also very proud of, that we succeeded with, to really get fun, varied gameplay. And because you need that forward momentum both in the story and in the puzzles and gameplay to make it fun and engaging.
I have a two-part question for you guys. First, how long after the release, or maybe never because you played so much, do you guys go back and actually play the full game as it's intended for someone like Drew and I? And then second, besides Planet of Lana, what do you guys play when you're gaming? I mean, Adam, you mentioned, you kind of play the hits for a while. Like, what do you guys play outside of Planet of Lana? That's sort of the two-part question there.
I can answer first, but I've actually played Planet of Lana both with, or watched when my girlfriend has played through it just a couple of weeks ago, and then playing it with my kids separately, so they get their own experiences, which is very, very nice to do, I think. So even though I have played it hundreds and hundreds of times, it's still quite nice seeing other people playing it. It's the same thing that I go in and watch streams from time to time now in the weeks after release, because it's so nice. Also, actually, streams is really nice because you get an honest live feed opinion of your game, which is quite rare. Because when I'm watching my kids or my girlfriend, they're too nice. Maybe not the kid. Maybe not the kids. But yeah, so that's very nice watching streamers play it, because you can learn so much also of how they play. But otherwise I'm playing through actually both It Takes Two and Split Fiction at the same time with my kids.
Nice.
So I'm doing Split Fiction with one of them and It Takes Two with the other one, and then we'll switch so I'm gonna play it 2 times over, I think. But yeah, otherwise, I played a brilliant game called The Drifter. It's a point and click adventure made by a small Australian studio. I can really give a shout out to them.
Anyone
That's a
enjoy,
really
like the old LucasArts, like Full Throttle and like those
So
games?
good.
Like,
Grim
go and check it
Fandango
out.
back in
Yeah.
the day, and
Yeah,
Broken
yeah.
Sword. I grew up on those. Loved them.
But actually, it got the charm of that. So it's like that pixelated style, and it's like a noir detective story, but sci-fi elements. But then it's the puzzles are actually, not the way they did it back in the day, where you have to mix toothpaste with a bicycle, and then you can blow up a door or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's actually logical puzzles I never looked at a guide at any point in that game. So that was a good game. But otherwise, I'm very excited about starting Cairn soon. But otherwise, I play a lot of different type of games. I love paradox games, like big strategy games, and I love shooters as well. So I play whatever I have time for and what I'm excited about at the moment, I would say.
What
about you,
was
Klas?
the first part of your question, Michael?
Just how long after the release of Planet of Lana 2 does it take for you to go back and play it, or maybe you played it on
Okay.
release? Because I mean, you're playing it a bunch, as Adam said.
Yes. No, but that's what was so nice this time around for me. I think, like, because I mean, all the SDKs are in Gothenburg. All the dev kits that they do all the testing on all the different consoles on. So down here in Australia, I get to. I just played on my PC, like during testing and development and stuff. So it was a really nice feeling, like just picking up the Switch 2, going to the store, buying it, and then like playing it on the Switch 2 with my 4-year-old. She does a bit like, because it's nice too, because she can like just go backwards and forward on the left stick, and then I can do all the like tricky stuff on the right stick, and then
That's
when it gets
awesome.
scary, I do it all, and like yeah, so that was a really cool experience. We haven't finished it yet because we do it in like sort of half-hour increments, but like she's so into it, and she's got her little Mooey plushie, and it's just so, it's mind-boggling to like have been part of creating, a hero and a world that your kid is like into. You know what I mean? It's like that. I think as far as on the list of like rewarding things about making video games, that's right up there. So that's one. And then other things I'm playing so much because we're in obviously like a reset phase where we're working on other things and like pushing, aiming without saying too much, aiming to push the boundaries of like of what we do and how we take the studio to the next step. So playing so many different things. Like the problem is mostly I just end up playing like 3 or 4 hours for like sort of research purposes. So I haven't actually finished anything, but like everything from like Expedition 33 to Resident Evil to Cairn, that the Drifter, like Adam spoke about, really been enjoying that. What else? Yeah. Oh, there's a whole list. But there's just so many good games. You know what I mean? It's insane. Like, and I mean, each of them are, like Adam said before, like individual miracles, and it's a very, very nice problem to have, that there's too many good ones to even be able to play them all. So.
And I noticed you and Adam said some of the same games. Is there like a group chat where it's like, hey, check out this game 40 minutes in, what do you think about how they did this? Is that something you guys do?
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
I think it's very important to do that. Like nothing exists in a vacuum, you know what I mean? And like we don't want to copy anyone or like, but I think when there is that sort of wealth of material out there, you got to know, like, you got to know what audiences like. You got to push your own boundaries and see, like, how you can evolve your own taste as well and never get stagnant. I think it's that thing of like feeling like you've arrived somewhere, or like say, okay, this is our niche, and like, no, we want to keep pushing and keep getting better. And that's probably a big part of like coming to this so late as well, and like only when we started it realized that like, oh, hang on, we got all these skills and all these abilities from our professional life as like in film and animation, but then actually at heart we're gamers, and like we know this world and we've been playing video games our whole lives, and now you put them together and it's like this really like sort of, oh shit, working is so much fun, and like there's all these things we can do and all these avenues we can go down and like do. So yeah, we're just super excited to be doing this, and we're gonna keep doing it, hopefully a little bit better every time.
That
Speaking of the future, right now, let's talk about this. This is something we like to bring up all the time on the show, is the state of the industry, because at the end of the day, it kind of sucks. How do you guys make sure that you are consistent and around in 5, 6, 7, 8 years from now?
Yeah, that is it is very sad to see, the tough times that the industry is going through, and we've seen that, in Sweden and in Gothenburg where we live also, studios shutting down, and it's very sad to see all the raw talent just being out there and being let go. It breaks my heart every time, but I just hope that we get to see that people have, and that's when we started up the studio, we had an incubator program here in Sweden that we joined, and even though we didn't get any funding from it, I know in other countries they have more like state funding for games and stuff like that, and I think that's so good. But we don't have that in Sweden in that sense. But we do have this program where we could get funding to go and pitch our game at game conferences, and we can meet publishers, and so that made all the difference for us. And you get advice and coaching and all this stuff. But that made such a big difference for us. So I think we need more of that, supporting startups. And I hope that we can see more creative startups, and it can, reset in some sense, and we can come out on the other end having even better and more creative games. Because, to be honest, the more money that's on stake, the safer bets investors in general want to take, right? So, and I think that's what's so great about the whole indie scene, and seeing indie studios pushing creative boundaries. And it's such a even though it is very tough times, it's still so many good games coming out, as Klas said, and I still have hope for the future, and people will continue playing games, and I'm sure the industry will get bigger and bigger as our kids grow up. And I'm for sure gonna play when I'm at my elderly home. I'm gonna play like Quake or something with my peers. Gonna be awesome.
I'll see you there, Adam.
Klas comes back home.
From middle school. Yeah, exactly. From middle school to the geriatric home. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna have killer reflexes with my railgun, I'm sure. Yeah, but I mean, it is very sad. But I hope that more new, smaller creative studios can pop up, and and hope to see more state funding and other initiatives from other parts to be able to allowing people to have the courage to make that jump to start studios, because it is very tough starting a studio as well, but it is very rewarding as well if you can stay in the game. And and you have to be very creative in a lot of different ways, to yeah, and then you have to have luck as well.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not enough making good games either. You also have to have luck. That's just how it is.
It's crazy. Let's talk about the release date. How do you go about planning and picking? Yeah, there's Klas already going, oh, holy crap. It sounds like it's an absolute freaking nightmare. Like, everybody last year feared GTA 6. Everybody didn't even want to announce the release date because they didn't know if they'd be caught in the wake of GTA 6. This year, we so far know when GTA 6 is coming. Was that something you guys considered? You're like, holy shit, I'm not competing with GTA 6. What a waste of time that would be. Or is it, you know what, we're our own little unique thing anyways. We could maybe kind of go in right before GTA 6 or shortly after. Like, how do you guys pinpoint that release date without getting overrun by some of the juggernaut titles that are released?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's our publisher Thunderful that's picking the exact release date. Obviously, we had our timeline with the production when we were, around this time we're going to be finished, and it's very hard because when you release sim shipping on so many platforms as we did, you also have to lock in things in advance, so you can't change when you're getting closer to it. So, and at that time after we've locked in, we didn't know what games was going to come out on the same day. So not ideal, but and at the same time, it's kind of nice also because you get kind of bundled into this day of releases. If we would have released 2 days before or 2 days after, I think it would have been worse, but it's the same day at least. You get, these articles about these 5 games or these 6 games are coming out this day. So I think it's very hard to know also what the impact actually is. And I don't know actually how much of an impact it has on a game like Planet of Lana.
That's fair. Michael, you stirring up over there at all?
No, I think I've got everything I want out of them.
Yeah.
They've been great.
You guys have been awesome. Absolutely.
Done with us?
Well, no,
Hey,
never.
dude.
Oh,
Hey, you
thanks.
want to hang out more? We're good.
More on Planet of Lana 3, so we've got all we can get out of them.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
We poked, we
It's been
prodded,
awesome, guys.
their resistance.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, very good questions.
Couple of gotchas in there. Nah. No, it's been great, guys. Very nice meeting you both, and thanks for having us. It's been awesome.
We appreciate you guys taking the time and hanging out with us. And when you're ready to talk about Planet of Lana 3, we'll certainly have you back, and we'll discuss that and what the plans are and where we're going from there. But until next time, everybody, that has been Adam. That's Klas. I'm Drew. That's Michael. And we'll see you next week on Theory Unlocked.
Thank you.
Thank you.